listening to Business Talks with the Rebel Entrepreneur. Let's cut the BS for a sec. No matter how successful you think you are, there is always more to learn about being in business. This podcast is about pushing through adversity, challenging the status quo, and learning what you don't know from kick-ass entrepreneurs who've been there, done that. Let's do this.
Welcome to another edition of Business Talks with the Rebel Entrepreneur. I'm Diana Noble, aka the Rebel Entrepreneur. It's been a while since I've seen you, and it's been a while since you've heard from me. But here's the thing. We can choose to fall off the wagon altogether, or we can choose to get back on and keep on going. And that's exactly what I am doing here right now. I'm not just going to let a little bit of a blip stop me from providing this value on a bi-weekly basis, because you, my listeners, my viewers, you're all here because you want to learn. You want to grow your business. You want to do better. You want to do great things in your life. And that is why I am here, is to serve you. Today, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. One, I want to talk to you about habits. So we kind of just talked about that a little bit, but I'm going to expand on that a little bit more. And then I also want to talk about mindset. And this is a conversation that I've had with a lot of entrepreneurs lately. I work with entrepreneurs on a daily basis, whether it's the realtors who are part of my real estate brokerage, or whether it's the entrepreneurs, business owners that are hiring me on a one-on-one coaching session. And mindset is this conversation that I keep having with multiple people over and over and over again, different people, but the same conversation over and over again. And if you don't get your mindset right, chances are pretty high that you're not going to be able to live the life that you want. You're not going to be able to carry out your dreams, because everything starts up here. You've got to get up here right before you can get anything out there right. This is always going to either hold you back or propel you forward. The choice really is yours at the end of the day. So when we talk about mindset, what I'm talking about here is either playing safe and keeping small, or forgetting about all that bullshit that's going on up in here so that you can live the life that you want. Is it easy? Not necessarily, but it is doable. Now, some people think that they don't have control over their thoughts. They think that they're somehow on this autopilot where they don't have the ability to change what's going on inside of their mind. I'm going to give you a little bit of a news flash here. Your thoughts are literally one of the only things in this world that you have full control over. It's the truth. Okay? Because you control what's going on in your mind. Now, that's not to say that you don't have these subconscious thoughts that creep in that, you really didn't ask to be there, but they're there anyways. Okay. Potentially, you don't have control of them entering into your mind, but you do have control as to how much power that you give them. And you do have control as to whether or not you feed into those thoughts, whether you let them hold you back, or whether you say, hey, thoughts, piss off. I hear you, but no, I'm not giving you any attention, and I'm going to move forward anyways. A lot of people, they let those thoughts hold them back. They let fear hold them back. They let the possibility of rejection hold them back. They let their limiting beliefs as to why they can't have the life that they want hold them back. And the question you have to ask yourself is, are you going to let your thoughts hold you back? Or are you going to take control of them and have them propel you forward into the life that you want? I don't know about you, but I am not here to live a mediocre existence. And some of you listening to this or watching this right now might think that everything that I'm saying is total bullshit. But I'm going to just challenge you here for a second and say that there's a lot of people on the face of this earth who have lived the life that they want to live. They've lived their wildest dreams. They've made them come a reality. They've made millions of dollars. They've attracted things into their life that, other people maybe thought that wasn't possible. and they've proved everybody wrong time and time again. So if they can do that, and if I can do that, why can't you? I'm going to tell you why. Because you're not taking control of your thoughts. It all starts up here. So there's this thing called the cognitive triangle. And I don't know if I've spoken about it on this podcast before, but I've definitely posted about it on social media and I've written blogs about it. The cognitive triangle, what it is that thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions. So you have a thought that goes on in your brain, and that makes you feel a certain way. And as a result of the thought and the feeling, you act or choose not to act a certain way. So let's say, for example, the thought inside of your head is like, okay, I am afraid of ridicule. Okay, people are going to laugh at me. That's the thought in your head, is like, people are going to laugh at me. Then maybe the feeling is nervousness, anxiety, apprehension. And then the action is that maybe you don't act as a result of that because you're just too afraid of what other people are going to think. You see how that works? If you change the thought, then the feeling changes and so does the action. And that's the magic of it all. But regardless of how much magic that is, if you don't take the action, none of it matters. So let me give you an example here. You can't say that I'm meant to make millions of dollars. I'm going to be rich and famous. That is my belief. That is my thought. And I truly do believe in it. Feeling is, woo, I'm on top of the world. I'm going to make this happen. Yahoo, let's do this. And then action is, I'm going to sit my ass on the couch and I'm going to wait for the phone to ring. Nope, that is not going to work. That is just a recipe for disaster. So like I said, this whole entire thing that I'm talking about, yes, it has a lot of magic. Essentially, we're talking a little bit about the law of attraction here. It's like what you put out there is going to come back to you. But regardless of how much magic there is in that, if you don't have your actions correlate with your beliefs and with your thoughts, then it doesn't really matter because you're not going to get what you want. You cannot sit on the couch. You cannot complain. You cannot do nothing and expect to have everything. That is just not the way that the world works. Speaking of the law of attraction, are you focusing on the problem or are you focusing on the solution? If you focus on the problem, you're going to get more problems. You're literally going to attract more of the problem into your life. If you focus on the solutions, the things that you can do, the things that you can control, how to overcome the problem, then you're going to attract more opportunities for that to happen in your life. It's super simple. And while it sounds really simple, okay, let me be real here. Of course, it takes a little bit of practice. And let's just backtrack here and talk about those habits. The thoughts that you have in your brain really stems from habit. Because if you are having those self-defeating thoughts going on and on and on in your mind, chances are it's coming habitually. You're not really giving it much thought. Even though you're thinking, you're not giving much thought to the thoughts that you're thinking. Okay, that's a little bit of a tongue twister there, but you are not consciously thinking about what you need to think about. You're just letting those thoughts come into your head. You're letting that self-defeating behavior happen, and it's happening habitually without you even thinking about it. Okay. Okay, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but let me just break this down here for you. In order to have a new habit form, you need to bring it into the conscious atmosphere. Okay. So for example, let's say habitually you wake up in the morning and the first thing that you automatically do is you go and make yourself a cup of coffee. Well, it really didn't take much brain power for you to go and make that cup of coffee in the first place. All you did was do the same thing that you do every single day. It's a habit. You don't need to give it much thought, and that's what it is. Well, if you are going to take control of your thoughts, then you need to bring it into the conscious. You need to really think about it And you need to catch yourself in those moments of those thoughts that are not going to help you, those thoughts that are not going to propel you forward. You need to bring them into the conscious. You need to think about it and be like, well, wait a second. That thought right there is not benefiting me. It's not going to do anything good for me. And then you need to consciously choose something different. You need to replace that negative thought, that self-defeating thought, with something more positive, something that is going to empower you, inspire you, something that is going to have you take a different action, right? Because again, thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions. So if you want to have a different outcome, then you need to have a different thought. And that's just the way that it works, okay? If you want to be successful, you can't be thinking unsuccessful thoughts. It makes sense, doesn't it? When I break it down like that, it's like, wow, Diana, that's just like so intuitive. But a lot of people, that's what they're doing, right? Part of them is like, oh, I want to be successful, but I'm not going to get out of my own way. I'm not going to reformat my thoughts so that way I can be successful. Do you want a good life or don't you? Do you want to make your goals come true, your dreams come true? Do you want to bring them into reality, or do you want to just keep daydreaming? The choice is yours at the end of the day. But every piece of your success starts up here, my friends, right up in your brain. This controls everything. And you have the power to make a change. You have that ability. It's all up to you. Nobody tells you what to think. Nobody tells you how to act. Nobody has control over those pieces of your life. So, my friends, my challenge for you this upcoming week, anytime that you feel those self-defeating thoughts, anytime that you catch the fear creeping in, anytime that you realize, hey, something's going on here that is not going to lead to the outcome that I really want, you need to catch it and then you need to change it, right? So be aware of it, bring it to the conscious, make a conscious choice from there. What are you going to choose to do differently? How are you going to choose to think differently? So that way your outcome is in alignment with what it is that you want to do. At this point, I'm probably rambling, so I'm going to leave it there and just say that I'm happy to be back with you. I am going to make a conscious choice to have this podcast return on a bi-weekly basis. So every 2 weeks moving forward, because that was the intention. The intention was to always be every 2 weeks. And again, I fell off the wagon for a little bit, but I'm back, baby. And we are going to do this because this is part of my life's purpose, is to be here to challenge you, to help you be your best. For me to do the same. I'm always looking to do more. I'm always trying to grow, trying to expand. If you notice, I'm actually in a different place right now. This is my brand new studio. So on top of dealing with some family health matters, another thing that kept me away these past few months is I actually launched my fifth business. As a serial entrepreneur, I'm always thinking of different things that I can do. And so I had this opportunity to open a photography, videography, and podcast recording studio where I live. And so this is the very first episode ever being recorded in the studio, which is what it's called. And I'm so happy to be coming to you today from my very own space, a space that is available for rent from a lot of different creatives in the community in which I reside. And so anyways, I will leave you with that, folks. You'll be seeing more of this background moving forward because this is where I'm going to record. Thank you, as always, for listening into Business Talks with the Rebel Entrepreneur. I'm out.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning into Business Talks with the Rebel Entrepreneur with your host, Diana Noble. If you like this episode and want more business tips from the Rebel herself, Give @Noble Choice Coaching a follow on Facebook and Instagram. Have a topic you want covered on a future episode? Reach out and let's do it. Now, go kick some ass.